Cinema Swirl! I don't know about you, but I'm feeling like I'm nearly episode 32, which is good because this is the 32nd episode of Cinema Swirl, traipsing through Tinseltown and knocking on all the doors of sexually predatory producers and actors. It's Kevin here alongside my OTP, Sam. How you doing?
I'm alright, thank you. Hello. It's nice to be back on everyone's favourite biannual podcast, Cinema Swirl.
I thought we'd give it an old cinema whirl again at doing another cinema swirl.
Yeah.
Give me an old cinema twirl there. Let me get to look at the front and the back at you there, huh? How you doing, you know?
Yeah.
Huh? I got another one, they're mostly based on twirls, like the bar, you know, then it was going to be like a snack-sized twirl, but I kind of feel like I'm repeating material then, so I might stop.
Twirl or flake?
Oh man, it's got to be a flake, come on.
Yeah?
Alright, if you need any sort of a distinction as to why one is better than the other, okay, what gets you more aroused?
Good question.
The crumbliest, flakiest chocolate, and a sexy mouth eating it.
Yeah.
Or, I'm so dizzy, my head is spinning, like a whirlpool, it never ends.
Yeah, number two, definitely number two.
You're what's wrong with, I assume, America and every other country that has the concept of wrongness to its name, okay? It's obviously it's got to be a flake, Sam, okay?
Right.
I'm gonna put it, I got a 99 recently and they put a fucking twirl in it.
Whoa, okay, power move. Love that.
You love that.
Can I get it with a flake? That's like the Coke Pepsi thing. Like, can I have a flake, please?
God.
Oh, we've got twirls. Is that alright? No. It's not the same
You
thing.
and I were talking about ice cream floats recently, and do you think anyone has ever asked for, can I have a Pepsi ice cream float, please? Like,
no.
because
Probably not.
the only thing that would make this very sweet concoction of sweet Coke and sweet ice cream better is a slightly sweeter version of Coke.
Yes, please.
Today we are looking at one of the most gruesome movies that has been on our list for some time, and one which is certainly going to give us the heebie-jeebies, if not the munchies. I'm talking about Silence of the Lambs. Sam, do you like lamb?
Yeah, from time to time.
Okay.
It's not a favourite meat, but I'll have it.
All right, well, that's the preamble out of the way. Before we get any deeper into the ins and outs and the cannibalistic tendencies of this movie, why don't we have a look at that stagnant mailbag? We've opened the door and it's probably all like, oh my god, this house is abandoned.
Yeah.
Look at all this mail.
Cobwebs and
Mailbag time. Yeah. Dip in and out of the podcast. We have some breaks in between, so it's always good for people to know where you are at in your life and your recovery. We got one here from Shay Fox, all the way from Australian. That is that kind of larger, crasser New Zealand that I've heard of.
Have you had to turn your phone upside down to read the email? Is that how Australia works?
Well, no, because I'm from a land down under as well. The land down under, is that where rivers flow and men plunder?
Yeah.
Like, what, are they pirates? Like, what's going on? Like, there's a lot of plundering going on in the outback. Like,
it is plunder, isn't it, in that song?
I've been singing it wrong for years otherwise, you know. I'd ask men at work, but apparently that song is plagiarized, so I should ask the people that they plagiarized the song from instead. Okay, so Shay Fox asked, hey Sam, like you, I'm giving up Pepsi, which I'm like super addicted to, so I was wondering if you have any advice for giving up a soft drink.
Right, yes. First off, congratulations. First step is emailing a podcast to say you're going to quit. And second thing is, don't do what I did. Do not follow my lead. I just quit cold turkey. And then a few weeks later, I quit Pepsi. And
You used that joke before, you son of a bitch. Get the fuck... Alright, that's it. We're done. You and I are done. The tired old comedians in Blackpool wheeling out the dusty old jokes. Do you remember this one, kid?
You've got to go away to come back. That's what I always say. Don't just stop immediately. If you've been drinking, especially a caffeinated beverage for a long time, do not just suddenly stop drinking it. That will have an adverse effect on your health. You'll be very poorly for a long time.
So are you saying to like wean yourself off with like lower doses?
Absolutely.
Or take a caffeine supplement even? Like,
I'm not a doctor of science, so I don't know. But I would say just have a bit less, then a bit less, then a bit less, and then none, rather than just none.
Okay, now I'm going to challenge your supposed advice here because I think this is a very slippery slope indeed. Are you telling me that if you were in the throes of trying to give up the Demon Black drink is, the caffeinated beverage du jour, and you're telling me that there's a day then where it's like you're maybe on the 5th day of your weaning off and you're meant to only have like a shot glass of Pepsi, and you've got a whole bottle or a whole can in the fridge, and you pour the little shot glass and you go, ooh, I'm weaning it off. Are you telling me that you're meant to trust the addict not to take the rest of that medicine? They say, Sam, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Well, this medicine is sugar, so that it's a self going down enhancing medicine.
Well, no, hold on.
It's the stuff of Mary Poppins-esque nightmares.
They don't say a spoonful of taste helps the medicine go down and no sugar. So, I mean, you've tripped yourself up there, mate. You've made a fool of yourself because there's no sugar. There's just loads of taste. No sugar, mate.
Oh, I see. Okay. So, right.
Schoolboy error, mate.
A spoonful of maximum taste
there we go.
Helps the medicine go down. But here's the thing, right? You have admitted by your own admission that you're powerless over this substance. That's the first step in the 12-step program to get off soft drinks, as we're all aware. And you're meant to say, I'm powerless. I know I have to get off this, but I'm going to trust myself to have a small, unsatisfactory dose of the very drug that I crave.
Right. You know what? I see where you're coming from.
Because yours may have been harder. Your way may have been the hard way, the concrete way to do it. However, I think you were more successful as a result.
Right. Shay from Australia, just quit cold turkey. Just stop.
You're going to have diarrhea.
It's going to be awful. You're going to have headaches. You're going to poo weird for a long time. My top tip for escaping the fizzy drink addiction is have some cold water in the fridge. Put some little bottles of cold water in the fridge, because what you're addicted to is just a cold drink in the fridge.
Don't tell yourself that.
It's just you just want a cold drink.
You're doing the sugar and fucking caffeine and all the preservatives in it. That's what you're addicted. You're not addicted to a cold drink.
What you're addicted to is opening the fridge and getting a nice cold drink out of it.
That's why you're saying that a smoker's addicted to conversation in the outdoors. You know, that's the real drug. Not the nicotine. Or the sweet, sweet tobacco. I'll tell you what I'm addicted to, Sam. I'm addicted to stories about people taking things into the cinema inappropriately, or in our cases, appropriately. Now, I'm going to ask you a little something here. A little something I've snuck into the cinema recently. The cinema near me is so fucking lax. It's great. Like, it's absolutely great. Like, they literally see people walking into the cinema without tickets and they don't want to get out of their seats to stop them. It's incredible. Not that I would ever not support the film industry in that way. That is disgusting to me. But there is a chicken cottage quite close by that is open late. Now, chicken cottage, often heard of, had never partook. All I knew is that when we were in Lincoln together, that is where a lot of people had been stabbed.
Yeah.
I went there because Joe told me it's going to be the best time. You're going to have chicken. They serve iron brew on tap. Right. And it's a great time. And I went there and it was fucking delicious. And it was cheap as chips. I'm not going to name names, but within my social circle, when I gleefully announced, I had some chicken cottage and took it to the cinema, I got a sneer as in, chicken cottage.
Right.
Now, I don't know if this is some sort of racism or snobbery against certain brands of chicken, but where do you stand on the cottage of chicken, the house that chicken built?
That's the liberal Nando's elite coming out there and shooting you down is what that is.
It is, yeah, exactly.
I've never been to chicken cottage.
Really?
Never been. Because of the very thing that you said, that when we were both in Lincoln, like my first week in Lincoln, I walked past chicken cottage. I thought, oh, that looks quite nice. And someone was like, someone got stabbed outside there.
And then they had like a health code violation as well. Like after the stabbing, it's like we're back on our feet, but we forgot to wash our hands after the stabbing.
I think that put me off.
Like really, it did. I think I was scared to go, and I feel stupid because there's very few places you can get iron brew in a fountain environment, okay? And you get it there. And I'm going to say right now, my top tip for anyone going to the cinema is take fucking chicken cottage in with you. Right. It's the stuff of dreams and beauty. However, our next email is not about someone bringing in chicken cottage, because that would be stealing my very important story. From Laura Walton. Hello, guys. Myself and my friends are huge fans of the podcast, so when I told them this story, they insisted I get in touch with you. So we'll blame them and not you, Laura, if it's not good content. Not a weird thing, but someone has eaten at the cinema, but terrifying in its own way. Okay. When I was a student at Aberystwyth University, which does sound like... It's funny, she actually mentions going to see Harry Potter, The Order of the Phoenix. Aberystwyth does sound like a Harry Potter house.
It does.
You know. Like a really elitist one, like the French ones or something like that, you know. A bit of context. My housemate had begun to keep pigeons, racing pigeons, and all manner of other birds in his room. The end. Thanks for listening to Cinema Swirl. A bit of context. These were very unwell people at their lowest, struggling day to day.
They're not just regular pigeons, mate. They're racing pigeons. It's all right.
No, it's racing pigeons and all manner of other birds.
Right.
That's what...
An actual menagerie.
And all manner of other birds. Like, the only person who uses the phrase all manner of is either like Cruella de Vil or like Dr. Dolittle. It's an eccentric phrase to use when describing a collection of animals. Other birds in his room and garden in our house. Yeah, I've no idea why either. Well, the question is why is obvious. The question is how.
Yeah.
He turned to me halfway through the movie at a particularly quiet part of the film and opened his jacket outwards to expose a small breast pocket. Okay. Ordinarily, I'd imagine folk would have kept their latest Nokia brick in it, or a few Mars bars. Not this lad. In his pocket, he had a budgie. A dead budgie. Its head flopped to one side, its eyes grey, looking like a small feathered Voldemort. I screamed, and he told me to shut up and calm down. You know, I hate when women's voices are getting silenced, Sam, in the media, but a woman's voice saying, this man has a dead budgie and is showing me, that is the voice that needs to be heard most of all in this trying time of ours. Apparently, he had got it from the pet shop and felt sorry for it, as it clearly was poorly. He had called it Grandad, and it had died earlier that day, and he was giving him a send-off. So Grandad appeared at his own wake, and I've never been quite the same since. Cheers, guys. Laura.
All right. Thank you, Laura. Was the send-off to take a dead bird to see Harry Potter and that's the way to say goodbye? Or was he then going on to a send-off later, but he had to stop by the cinema first?
Yeah, it's like an Irish wake, so you go see a Harry Potter movie, then you lay the budgie on a pool table and you all have like a strong drink, like we play the Pogues, like the body of an Irishman, and we all have a bit of a dance. And, then we stop the Baltimore drug kingpins. I think what it might be, Sam, a very fitting wake it could be, because the Order of the Phoenix, the Phoenix, of course, being the mythical bird of resurrection.
Right. I get it.
But the dead budgie would have a resurrection of its own, because even though the budgie would be dead, all the parasites in it that would be inside it would start to eat on its festering flesh and bones. That is like a resurrection of its own sort.
The thing that puzzles me the most about that story is that when he did like the reveal of the bird, he kind of opened his jacket, dead budgie. What was he expecting to happen then?
What are you doing? You're so unique and you're so gosh dang funny.
Like, cool, back to the movie.
You tell me about that later, all right, big guy? All right, we're gonna have some talking, and it's gonna be wild, I'm sure, because you seem like a very interesting person with your dead bird in your pocket. Don't do that.
No, don't do that. No dead bird. Unless they're dead chickens and they're cooked.
Yeah. Honestly, Sam, I'd be less offended if you ate the dead budgie than just showing it around like that.
Shut up, calm down. Ow.
Yeah, shut up, calm down. Yeah, that's it as well. So he wasn't even going to be like, I'm a bit wacky, sorry, I pulled it. He's like, shows it and then just shut up, calm down, like. Yeah. Have you considered this fellow, this chap, this dead budgie customer? I'd strongly consider calling him a twat.
Yeah, well, yes. Yeah.
Or a plonker.
A bit of a pillock.
A pillock.
Wazzock.
That's a good one. A
No, it's not Wazzock level.
No, yeah, because if you say Wazzock, I imagine double, guns, fingers pointing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're not doing that, like. I want to keep my hands away from the dead bird.
Yep.
I might get, smallpox or a terrible disease. Well, thank you for those lovely illuminating emails to cinemaswirl@gmail.com.
That's cinemaswirl@gmail.com. We had a few questions on Facebook. Just a few quick ones for you. A few quick fire questions for you.
Oh, can I do like a funny little lilty bit then for when you're like, facebook.com?
Oh, yeah. So we've had a should I say the full URL?
Yeah, do the bit and then I'll chime in. Yeah.
Clean break.
We've
had a few questions in. Let me just.
Sam, come on! Tonight's the night, all right?
We've had a few more questions in at facebook.com/cinemaswirl.
That's www.facebook.com/cinemaswirl, CINEMASWI, or L.
I'll never catch on, mate. Now these are quick questions, quick fire, bang 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 questions. All right,
bang bang.
All right. So
now, I'm just saying, if you do a lot of quick fire, bang 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 questions, you're basically like getting rid of potential content for later episodes. If it's more of a bang, pause, consider, explain.
No, bang 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 bang.
If these bang bangs, you could be cutting the life of this podcast in half.
Okay.
So bang sensibly. All right.
I've always said that.
Said my biology teacher.
We both wiggled our glasses there at different points.
I didn't. I don't lie.
We both wiggled our glasses there, listener. Right. So quick fire questions. Bang bang. Is Sam dead?
Yes.
All right. Cool.
It's actually a character that I've been developing all these years.
Yeah.
Called Sam Chaplin, and I like. Can we see a little Sam Chaplin? Okay. I don't even know what tiffin is. That's a little bit of inside the actor's studio.
Yeah. Now, listener, that wasn't me.
Of course, it wasn't you because the real you died in a fire.
Yeah.
Many years ago.
Exactly 10 years ago today on this very episode.
And that's the reason we can do it today is because this is when Sam's ghost comes back.
Yeah.
Because he haunted it. But he's one of those ghosts that will only show up once a year, for the annual haunt. Well, those guys get off fucking easy, don't they? Them ghosts are, I'll pop in just for the day, like
part-timers.
Go and run the hot taps, flush the loos, open the windows a bit, and then fuck off back to the netherworld.
We have had a lot of where is Cinema Swirl? Where are you guys? What's going on? It's lovely that people have been still kind of interested in us and still discovering the show. Yeah, so people have still been emailing in, kind of going, hey, what's going on? And I'm going to clear the air. Back in December, when our last episode was, that was at the peak of the Bitcoin bubble.
Sorry, I just thought I was going to be really honest, truthful chat. No, I was just going to make some jokes about
no, it is. And that was the peak of the bubble. As some of you might know, some of you won't. Big investor in crypto. It's all about the blockchain. At that point, the bubble was riding high, and I was like, I'm done with everything else now. I don't need it. I've got my Bitcoin millions, and it's since subsided, come back down. I held on.
So you had theoretical millions, but you held on.
Didn't sell.
But you were out, but you didn't sell.
Well, I thought this is just going to keep going up and up and up. I may as well sack off everything else.
Yeah.
I don't need all that other stuff because I've got my coin. And I held on. I thought we're going straight to the moon, lads. This is happening now. And we didn't quite go to the moon. The rocket took off and then kind of went back down to Earth again. And so I'm just, at this point now, about 6 months later, trying to scrape back together the shattered fragments of my broken life. So that's where I've been.
I've been in Manchester.
Yeah, so that should answer everyone's questions about where we've been.
Great gigs here.
Yeah.
I've been told.
Yeah.
Not just Ryan, eh? Hey, yeah. All right, king of the goals. Let's talk a little bit about Silence of the Lambs. Sam, we've talked about lamb. Favourite lamb dish?
Oh, a Rogan Josh.
Oh, a Rogan Josh. I always go for the lamb if I'm going for an Indian meal. I will often go for lamb.
Yeah.
The high fat content mixes in with the spice quite well. You want to go for a fatty meat with your curries, yeah. What is Silence of the Lambs about? Have you heard of this movie? Have people been on you about this one? It's one which I feel is shown a lot in popular culture.
Yes.
And referenced considerably.
Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs, what's it all about?
I think this might be one I know a bit more about than some of the other films. As you say, it shows up a lot. There's a bit on The Simpsons where Mr. Burns has got a funny mask on and he's all taped up. Now, there's Hannibal Lecter.
Okay.
And he eats people.
Why does he eat people?
He's hungry.
Hungry?
For people.
Why did he... Oh, he's hungry for people?
Yeah.
Why does he just have a ham sandwich in a conversation? Why?
That's part of the new Tesco meal deal, isn't it? Pay £3 for a chat.
He is an eater of people, Hannibal Lecter. Do you know who plays Hannibal Lecter?
Oh, Jesus, yes. Oh, Christ.
What's he called?
Westworld man.
If he was a beer, he'd be an IPA. Huh? Because he's a very...
Anthony Hopkins.
Hey, there we go. All right.
Sir?
All right, because
Sir Anthony Hopkins?
Sir Anthony Hopkins, he is.
Nah,
who's not spoken with his daughter in around 20 years.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, so
Ah.
we've spoken with the Queen a bit, I imagine, being Sir Anthony
Is he a sir?
Hopkins.
Is he knighted?
He is.
All right.
Pretty sure he is.
Ah.
I assume that's how he got knighted. It's like, you can either be a knight of the realm or talk to your daughter. And he's like, oh,
Yeah.
knight of the realm.
Knight of the realm,
Like,
yes. Knight of the realm.
you know.
We'll go with Knight of the Realm. Is that your final answer? Yeah, Knight of the Realm.
Oh, no! Oh, dang it. Oh, they're going to... Can you imagine the headlines? Yes.
So he's Hannibal Lecter.
He's Hannibal Lecter. So Hannibal Lecter, he eats people.
Yeah.
Have you ever eaten anyone?
No.
The hesitation there.
No, Your Honour.
Okay, all right. Now, let's talk about it a bit here, because obviously, Sam,
Obvs.
eating people is a morally grey area.
Yeah.
You know, it is. You're into that, like, you know?
Is that all right? Yeah.
Is it all blurred lines? You know,
Yeah.
what is in the era of hashtag Me Too? Is it possible to eat another human and it actually be okay anymore? I would question.
I think if it's
whether
like
that's
Robin
possible.
Thicke and you eat him, you're all right.
You can eat Robin Thicke.
Yeah. Those lines are actually pretty clear. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
eat Robin Thicke. That's absolutely fine. Like, let's have a cookout. I don't imagine he tastes very good.
No.
I mean, why would you imagine I imagine he'd be like, you know, that really cheap black bean sauce that you can get.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, ugh.
No.
What are these lumps? They're nothing discernible at all. Okay, if you were to eat a human,
Yeah.
you know, gun to your head.
Yeah, sure.
Not while you're eating the human, it'd be very inconvenient.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the whole time when you're trying to chew and you got it on your temple.
Yeah.
Who would you eat, and what part of them would you eat?
I'm going to go with gut reaction here, straight away.
Okay.
This is just what came to my head. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Okay.
And just the pecs. Just
Pecs.
lop one of those off. I think that's a pretty good cut of meat.
You're on pretty much a bit of a health buzz there, then, aren't you?
Yeah.
With your very lean
The one with
red meat there.
with the tattoo on it. The one with the big circle tattoo on it.
The one with the toxins.
Yeah.
The poison, like. I don't know. That would give you a negative status effect, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So how would you cook it? Obviously, this is a morally grey area, so hypothetically, if Sam was to cook
Yeah.
and eat a human, he would ask an adult first.
I
That's-
wouldn't really know what I was doing. Put it in the oven.
Now, this is very interesting, though. You're shying away. You often downplay your ability or any sort of desire to cook. Yeah, I know that you're a stealthy cooker. You do cook. You have cooked.
I have cooked.
And you've dodged this many a time. So I'm going to ask you...
All right. I got it.
If you've got any cooking stories.
I got it.
Okay.
I've got the way I would cook Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's pectoral muscle.
Okay, lay it on me.
Mince it.
Oh, yes.
Mince it.
Yes,
form
yes,
it into
yes.
a burger.
Yes.
Rock burger.
Oh, my God. That is literally really good because when it's that nice and lean, you have to put a good gooey cheese on it to soak a little bit of the fat into it. But I think, you get a good primo burger going on there. I'm just assuming he tastes like beef, The Rock, like, you know, because he's buff beef.
He's a beefy,
you know?
beefy bloke.
Whereas you and I think that you and I would probably taste closer to chicken or maybe pork.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, would you say there's a particular body part of mine that you would eat?
You know what? I wouldn't, but when pressed, now this is not just personal to you, but I've heard the bit between the fingers is the best
The webbing.
bit. The webbing.
That's the best
That's
bit.
the best bit.
But there's no meat there. That's
I
just,
have no idea where I've heard that.
Now, like when I
Your
roast
Honor.
a chicken, you know, I love I love obviously getting the skin and whatnot, but you know, I give the skin to other people as long as I can get the neck and the arsehole, because those are like the really crunchy, yummy bits, all the yummy, crispy, delicious juices have gathered and crisped up and whatnot. But you're thinking the webbing between. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. There's eating for days to me here, you know, and the fact that you would only go for that's very wasteful. Like,
all right. Well,
and if we're going to resort to cannibalism and then continue the trend of food waste as we have, I'm watching documentaries from Hugh Fernie-Bale Witherington Bottom, and I know now that food waste is bad, and that you are a bad. And I wouldn't even bat an eyelid about the cannibalism, but the food waste
it's terrible. Right? Okay.
it is very. There's a phrase we have in my homeland, Sam, which is "beef to the heels of a Mullingar heifer." Which means that the meat is so delicious that you could eat all the way
Beef to
down
the
to the
heels.
hoof
Yeah.
of the hoof of the animal, which is literally the only bit that, you know, if you could eat, it'd be delicious, but you literally can't because it's too hard.
Can you say that phrase again? It has a nice rhythm to it.
Beef to the heels of a Mullingar heifer.
Love it.
Is it good? Yeah. Now, I'm just saying, I would have said before to me, beef to the heels of a Kevin James, Roberto Mahan.
Yeah.
But actually recently, I got an electronic foot file.
Right.
And I've sorted out some of that. So I'm good all over. I've got the feet of a newborn baby.
When
like,
you
can eat me for days.
Electronic foot file, I imagined you on a computer typing in, looking up, like, details
My
about
database
feet.
of foot fetish porn exposed.
I'm just looking at my electronic foot file.
Yes, my EFF. I have it here. It's like a Pokedex. Like,
yeah, password protected. You can't look at it.
That is a foot fungus, Ash. They are incredibly sore. Make sure you wash your toes after going to the pool. Chaplin's kitchen nightmares. Have you any? Because I mean, we're talking about, you know, there's a man who eats people. We're in the realm of cooking. We're talking about cooking people. We're going to be talking about. Have you got any sad stories or potentially dangerous? I mean, the scariest thing that can happen when you're cooking is if you cook and eat someone. That's quite scary, obviously. But has anything happened to you while you were cooking? I mean, I know you worked with the donut machine a little bit. Has anything happened to you that would equate to a scary or a wah?
No, I've not really had any scary situations in cooking. The worst thing is just sausages setting off the smoke alarm. We've all been there.
What? That happens?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
God, sensitive
That
smoke
happens to me
alarm.
in my old flat. I used to put a sock over it, and that's bad. Don't do that. But in order
What,
to...
over your sausages?
Yeah. No. I'd give them individual socks.
Any other terrifying incidents? I mean, you can't. I'm just sorry. I assume that you had a donut maker that you got burnt on it. There's no way you had that product and didn't get burnt on it.
Didn't have a donut maker. I'd made donuts. I was the donut maker.
What?
Yeah.
How'd you get them?
Formed them myself.
Wow. So you had a deep fat fryer. Did you use deep fat fryer or just a big pan?
Big pan of hot oil, mate.
Oh, man.
And that could have gone horribly wrong.
Yeah. Because the scariest thing that ever happened to me was with a pan of hot soup.
Right.
I made up a nice big batch of soup. It was really nice. Good, nourishing winter soup with beans and leftover chicken and all that. It was very nice.
Yeah.
And I just turned off the heat and I was like, right, I'm going to go get some bowls. I had given it a final stir and I left my ladle lying in the soup pot. And I went around to grab my bowls and get everything ready to serve up. And then as I was turning back, just for some reason, the ladle had started to weigh down and then just flipped out and literally doused me in hot soup. And like literally for the fact that I put my arm up, it would have went all over my face. And I got some pretty gnarly burns on me that then like they took a long time to go away. And recently I was like, I'm going to start heating up plates because I had never done that before. You know, it's something that I always struggle to do, to remember to heat up plates when you're plating up your food, even though it is obviously better. It keeps your food warmer.
Much better.
I was trying to take the plates out of the oven after I heated them up, but because I was wearing oven gloves, I lost the grip. The plates fell backwards and my wrists touched the top of the oven and left like perfect grill marks. Now, this is something I've never experienced. I've never had any desire, any experience with self-harm, but I know of the issue and I know what it looks like. And I have got what looked to be very extreme self-harm marks on my wrists now as a result of that, which I feel I get a lot of like sympathetic or sometimes judgmental looks that I feel have nothing to do with me now. It's a kitchen nightmare.
You can't go through your life just saying, no, it was the oven.
Of course it was, Kevin. And how often does the oven tend to burn you, Kevin? You know, no, seriously, just that one time. And I've not heated up my plate since. Right. And I refuse to.
It is better though. It is better.
It is better. Tell you what now, right? Okay. Talking about Silence of the Lambs. We talked about cannibalism.
Yeah.
That boy, Anthony Hopkins, have you seen him in anything before?
Yes. Westworld Series 1. Maybe Westworld Series 2. I haven't watched all of it.
Okay.
What else have I seen him in? What else has he been in? I'm coming up kind of blank here.
I tell you where he's not been.
Yeah.
His daughter's birthday party the last
No, he's not been there for a long time.
Long time. I tell you, he's been Buckingham Palace though, fucking living it up with Queen Lizzie and Prince Pill Philip, because he's on them pills.
Yeah.
Huh?
I can't think of anything else I've seen him in. I'm sure I have.
If you were to lick him, what flavour would he be?
Earl Grey tea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he'd have the texture. You ever get one of them really fancy boiled peanuts that has like the salt and sugar glaze?
Yeah, yeah.
Slick on the outside and almost glass-like. But once you get past there, there's a very warm, knobbly skin that just invites the tongue for more. I think that's what
his skin would be like to taste.
So, other than him being in this movie and eating people, do you know anything about Silence of the Lambs? Any other characters you're aware of?
Jodie Foster's in it.
She is?
I know that he goes like that.
Why does he do that?
Because he's proper hungry for people.
Mr. Kipling's exceedingly good cakes.
Yeah, he's beckoning his cat over. Come on. He does that.
Yeah.
He eats people. There's like a straitjacket mask situation.
There is, yes.
Because otherwise he'll bite everyone.
He'll inhale all the ambient meat around him.
He can't stop himself from chomping.
You've not watched like the Lecter Hannibal TV series. You've not watched any you haven't seen Hannibal the movie or Red Dragon or Manhunter or any of those types of things.
No.
Oh man, this is going to be
I'm
quite new for you.
Hannibal, the show.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan really, but everyone else, Billy's a massive fan of it. He thinks it's the dog's bollocks and the bee's knees, which is anatomically correct and zoologically insulting. So I won't watch the show on principle. The movie poster for this, do you remember what it was? Have you seen it on any of the on your physical media that I'm sure that you've got down from the?
Oh yeah, the kind of the face and the butterfly type situation. What's all that about? Neither of those things are lambs.
No, as a kid, I was convinced what happened was if you had a mole and you let it get really, really bad and you didn't look after it,
come out of it?
It would turn into one of the little skull butterfly moth bastards.
Yeah.
Wasn't up for that at all. No way. I don't know if you're going to like this movie because I know you can get a little bit squeamish sometimes. It is creepy as fuck at points and it's tense as fuck. And I know this is very much like one of the first movies from the early 90s or late 80s period where it kind of felt like Hollywood was properly getting tits deep in the dark ooze of sexualized violence. Right. Women's skin being ripped off, murders, senseless killing everywhere.
So
it felt
gruesome.
like this is a very, very gruesome, yeah, in its own way. I mean, honestly though, I think it might have seemed tame by comparison because you've seen, maybe stuff since then that is probably maybe less tactful, but probably as gruesome, if not more so, just on a baseline gruesome level.
The Saw films, I think, are like a kind of, at least a spiritual sequel to...
Yes, Anthony Hopkins does look like a puppet. I will give you that. He looks like a little ventriloquist puppet, doesn't he?
Well, I think Final Destination's in the same shared cinematic universe. I'm not sure. So. It gets confusing. There's a Wikipedia article, but I can't follow it. But I think...
I don't know if you're going to enjoy it. Do you think you will?
Well, I mean, you don't think I will.
I just think you might get a little bit by it. But who knows? The powerhouse acting of Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins may sway you in this case.
I was about The Shining.
That's true.
But I enjoyed it. I was freaked out by it, but I liked it.
Well, have you had a wee? Have you had a wee?
No. Do I need one? Because otherwise I'll do big
I was going to say, we could go do a cinema swirl, but I want to make sure you've had a wee first. If you've made wee. Have you done that?
Not quite yet. I'll go have a last wee and then
can you manage? Are you alright? Do you need help?
No, I think I'm a big boy now. I can do it on my own.
Okay, let's go do a cinema swirl. We're back. We just had some lambs get told to be quiet and get along and move along their way. Silence of the Lambs, that is. Sam, initial good reaction to this movie, this shocking tale of cannibalism and other deviousness.
Yeah, it's good that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like that.
All right, so tell me, broad terms, what is it you've enjoyed? Just dipping your toe into the water of your initial opinion here.
It was very creepy, but very engaging and tense. I was gripped.
I would say this is not so much necessarily just a horror, because I think people throw this in like as a horror, like along with The Exorcist and stuff. I'm going to move it into another genre of thriller. It's more thrilling than it's horrible, I think.
Yes, it's proper thriller, mate.
It is. Like in Midnight when everyone does that dance, like in the famous Michael Jackson, Vincent Price joint venture. I was very, very shocked at how well this movie had aged in some ways, and shocked in like how badly it had aged in other ways. But we'll get into that as we get along. We open in Quantico. Quantico is one of the coolest sounding places ever. I always thought Quantico sounded like a base from Star Fox or something like that.
I think it sounds like a company that supplies printers to offices.
Like a really, really boring company that's very successful, though.
Who was that on the phone? Oh, it's just Quantico. They're just having some issues with paperwork, but they're sending it through.
Yeah, and it was like a merger as well. Quantico is a result of the merger between Tyco Technologies and Quantifications.
Yes.
And they just merged together and became Quantico, and that's it. And that's where all the FBI got trained. I found out randomly that the FBI, this is one of the first times they let people shoot on their special campus, their FBI zone.
Is that the special FBI campus in real?
Yeah, Quantico. Yeah, it's the real snazzy looking place. It's kind of like futuristic for the 40s.
I think I noticed about this early bit in the film where they're in the woods doing training.
Obstacle courses, mate.
Yeah. The titles that come up, they look very Twin Peaksy, don't they? They've got that.
Yeah, they do.
Especially with the woods.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And the only thing I didn't like about these titles was they were so gosh darn big, Sam. And I feel that the movie was teasing me because it's right there, fellas. I can see it right in plain sight. It's the movie. It's just what I came to see. And these bloody big letters in the way kind of going, ooh, not yet. Like lifting the skirt up by the knee, little tease. Yeah. I didn't appreciate that. I was enjoying the scene and I was enjoying the movie. How dare they?
I like how Clarice is wearing a FBI Academy jumper. That's some very good movie showing, not telling situation going on there. I like that. Oh, I get what's happening here.
You've not seen Blade Runner, have you?
No, haven't seen that film, mate.
Oh man, because it's got like a couple of different like cuts of it. One of which has like a really bad narration from the main character to try and like explain everything because the people thought it was too confusing.
Right.
So I like to think that every movie that we watch has got an alternate cut somewhere where the main character has the dialogue in their head like, it's been 2 years since I came to the FBI to train here in Quantico. Yes, just like down at the bottom of the screen, the text, it matches.
On this training course, there's like a tree, and hanging down from the tree are some signs that say hurt, agony, pain, and then love it. This was presumably back in the 90s before Live, Laugh, Love had become a thing.
Yeah, I mean, the last one of that is great, to be honest. Love it. That's a really fun part. But the previous 4 installments, you have to go through a lot of misery to get to that little bit of love at the end. Yeah. I wouldn't recommend it. Eat, Pray, Love, I would recommend it. Sounds like a right old time. She's got the best voice ever, has she not?
She's got a very Jim Ross kind of voice, I think. And the wrestling commentator.
Yeah, you're right. She has a southern drawl.
Yeah.
Which is weird because he has a pop at her later for having a southern accent. And before then, like, I was all like, my God, what is this voice? Where does it hail from? Like, trying to analyze it like I'm the Terminator. And I couldn't think of it. And then only when he made fun of her from being from the South, I was like, oh shit, of course.
Yeah.
She's very obviously a southern lady. I've just got the ears of a child, apparently.
It's a nice voice. It's a very kind of comforting voice, I think, that.
Yeah, it's distinct. I would say they've missed a trick, Sam, by not having her do the narration as we described, just because that's a great voice. You want to hear it. You want to see things described and confirmed. She is very much a lady in a man zone is what they're kind of getting across here.
Yes, there's some very clear kind of imagery of this. The bit where she gets into a lift with a bunch of red-shirted men. Lots of just men all staring at her a lot.
They're all sneering a little bit as well, weren't they? They're kind of looking down like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Disgusting, despicable behavior from these creeps. It doesn't make me feel good knowing that the FBI is not all nice FBI people like in Twin Peaks. It's actually full of gross FBI men like we see here in Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Never forget that.
Yeah.
So she goes to the behavioral science unit to meet this dude called Crawford, who, is a nice lad. He has lots of pictures of skinned women up on his wall. We've all been there. Have you seen Mindhunter or know anything about the whole behavioral science thing?
No.
Mate, what I've even got a Netflix subscription for.
The Office, but it's not on it anymore.
It's not on anymore. Why have you got it then?
I don't know.
I'm going to give you a stone cold recommendation, Mindhunter. You should check it out because it's all about this behavioral science unit thing where they interviewed all the serial killers, all the really shocking serial killers who mutilated people, and they interviewed them to try and build up a profile, which, because he had such a small sample size, is basically invalid, but it's very interesting nonetheless.
I always get Mindhunter confused with Mindhorn, which is the Julia Barrett comedy film.
Oh, I wish I could recommend that. I watched that and I was sorely disappointed.
I liked it. I thought it was alright.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe you just love the Isle of Man way more than I do, because that's what that movie was pushing at me.
Yeah.
It's a great weekend away, like, what can you say? I think another thing they missed a trick with her is not having her host like a podcast, like kind of like a true crime podcast. I feel her voice very much is the kind of...
We just want to listen to that voice all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Talk about murders, people who got eaten, but we don't know who's eaten them. Like, real proper true crime stuff. So he wants her to go and interview her, like, alone, which is a bit dangerous seeming for a trainee, right? So
they're interviewing all these serial killers for psychological profiling to then presumably use that to figure out what another serial killer is thinking.
Yeah, it's a long shot at best, Sam. It's a Hail Mary pass. Like.
If there's one thing about serial killers, is they're all very consistent with each other.
By the book serial killing here, boys.
Yeah.
You know what to do.
So she's chatting to Hannibal Lecter, whose name rhymes with cannibal, which came first, do you know? Well, the name. But
he's Dutch, isn't he? He's meant to be from another country, so...
Is he?
I want to guess, that's in the Hannibal TV show I'm thinking of. Yeah, because I was just wondering if it could just coincidence, like, in his home language, the word for cannibal does not rhyme with his name, Hannibal. It just so happens in English, I get the label all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You eat a few people and, oh heavens, everyone's monocle falls off into their champagne glass. So she goes to check him out, and he's a total mystery to all the top boffins in the special prison zone where he's being kept. And we meet the unaptly named Dr. Chilton, who shouldn't be called Chilton because he hasn't got a ton of chill. He has no chill at all, as the kids would say.
He's a right creepy prick, isn't he?
He's a stick in the mud.
Yeah. Ugh. Yucky. Don't like him. Very, very quickly established as a baddie.
He is. He was an oozy fellow. He had like, the kind of praline look that a lot of the baddies of the time do with the individually combed back hair and whatnot.
Are you staying overnight? You're really pretty. Do you like fun? I like fun. He doesn't sound like that, but
that they missed the trick of the casting there. They could have really gotten across a lot more of that character, I think.
I love. He's picked a pretty one with you, Auntie. I know what he's doing, cheeky bastard.
Now, you just made him way more kind the second time you did that voice. He became like, no, I'm here with the dogs to look after everyone. It's okay, as opposed to a creepy crypt keeper in a swamp somewhere on the moors. So we get introduced to Hannibal Lecter in a dramatic fashion. Mm-hmm. And I said it before we broke away and watched the movie, but I'm doubling down. He proper looks like a little marionette puppet. The way he stands there with his little arms and his little trousers, like
his standing up straight thing is like proper weird looking. That I knew there was something chilling about it, but when you describe it like that, it just looks like a puppet.
He looks like, what's the name of, Frank Sidebottom is kind of what he reminds me of here.
His head is massive.
It is. And you're right, it is chilling to look at, Sam, because you look at it and then you imagine, geez, how big's the bloke who's controlling this?
That's the real villain of the piece. Whoever is holding the strings.
This giant monster who's making his marionette eat and kill people. What a monster. He must be stopped and brought to justice. He reminds me as well of a very intense Paul Daniels, a.k.a. Any Paul Daniels, who was always very, very intense, if you notice any archive footage of Britain's most beloved magician.
Do you think, as part of his bond that he's making with Clarice, he's trying to find a Debbie McGee type figure to help him with his tricks?
Yeah, and whose career he subliminally wants to ruin and manipulate. It perfectly is a Paul Daniels situation here, like. Oh my God. So they chat about Buffalo Brill, who is the serial killer du jour, who has a bit of a nasty habit of removing the skin of his victims.
Yeah, we see quite a few pictures of skinned people in the lead up to this. And Chilton, just before she goes in, shows her a picture of a nurse that got bit by Hannibal the Cannibal. And, and it's all the more creepy for not seeing the photo. They look at this photo and the lighting is like a dark red and a bit of blue. And so you know that this guy's a proper menace.
I must say, they're very good as well at kind of, building a bit of suspense, but not showing you every gruesome thing. Like, there's often times where it's like, oh, look at this picture, and you don't see it, or like, oh, look at this gross thing, and it's kind of out of focus. And I was actually surprised. I thought this was way more kind of over the top with its violence, but it's actually quite nuanced for such a gruesome movie.
It's a nice mix. You do get to see some yucky stuff.
Which makes it all the yuckier that you're not seeing it every 2 seconds.
Exactly. You think, well, if they've shown us this, but they're not showing us this, what are we missing out on here?
So she pulls the old fast one. You think you're chatting to someone, you think they're nice, you think they just want to give you a pen and chill, but oh no, they want a questionnaire to be answered. I haven't got time to tell you about my different types of tinfoil. Yes, that one was difficult to tear. I don't know if I can rate it on a scale of 1 to 9.
It's like when a nice person stops you on the street for a chat, and then they want you to do direct debit for the donkey sanctuary. I'm like, no, I thought I was just in this for a chat.
And then you go, donkey sanctuary, that's silly. And then you go, yeah, but the donkeys are really badly looked after. And you're like, oh no, now I feel even worse. And I know someone back home, right? Get this, with one of those chugger types. I don't know if you have them in America. Here in the UK and Ireland, you have representatives of different charities will be out in the streets and they kind of approach you and like ask you to, donate and sign up for direct debits and stuff. Back home in Ireland back in the day, a friend of mine literally was told and brought by the guy to an ATM to take out money. And he was like, oh, I've got nothing on me. It's like, well, let's just go over here.
Wow.
To the ATM and let's just, now that's a hard sell. I mean, I think your ABC always be closing, like always be just gently bringing them to the ATM and just to put in the pin. There we go. Awesome. Cool. Awesome.
So Hannibal is a psychiatrist or a therapist?
Yes.
He's got a very analytical mind. I think he's a bit like Sherlock, but more of a prick in this first bit.
If it's actually even possible, like, he's even more of a prick.
Yeah, he says the word acumen, which I only ever hear on The Apprentice.
Oh man, Team Acumen is such a name for a team in The Apprentice, isn't it? Like,
very much so. Yeah.
So he calls her a rube and mocks her southern heritage with a, your typical, oh, I've got you all figured out speech. It's very, very droll.
I like the word rube. Is rube okay?
Rube. I think Rube's okay. Rube, I think Goober is still okay as well. Those are the only two which I'm definitely sure of. Like, but yeah, it's good to check these things out. But if anyone is like, maybe like there's people who've come from a family of like suckers who've been like, I traded my life's work for a tin of beans, or traded the family's cow for a thumbs up or something ridiculous like that. They're like, hey, don't make fun of us rubes. But yeah, I've always kind of, I don't know about you, Sam, would you like someone to very confidently but slightly inaccurately be like, oh, I've got you all figured out. You're sitting there with your Axe body spray and your chinos and da-da-da, and he goes, it's kind of right, but like mostly wrong. Kind of like a bad psychic. I would kind of like that experience, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be funny, like,
no.
It's just someone so confident.
I don't
slip up.
I don't want someone to like try and figure me out in a very kind of hoity-toity.
Oh, I know you, Sam Chaplin.
Yeah.
I see you there, standing there. You think you figured out Fight Club. You think you understood Jared Leto's performance in Suicide Squad. You think you're the bee's knees, you're the cat's pajamas. Well, you're not.
Whose liver did he eat with flava beans and a nice Chianti?
I think it was like a former patient. Ugh.
Yeah.
It was a former patient or something like that. But yeah, I was more fixated on the line. And also the pairing of liver with fava beans. I don't know if I would go into that territory.
For the character of Hannibal Lecter, that weird sippy noise.
It's very silly, isn't it?
It's very silly. It seems almost a bit cartoony.
I think it detracts away a bit, like, from him seriously.
It does, because I knew that bit, before having seen this film. That's like a famous line, a famous part of the performance. But I think that's the worst bit. Like, in terms of, he's like creepy cannibal.
Rip.
No,
it sounds kind of like a noise like a Nintendo character would make or something like that. Like, it doesn't sound like something a serial killer would do. It's like, oh no, it's Slithers, the terrible snake.
Oh, and the text will come up along the bottom, and that would be like his
I'll
noise.
Get you next time.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on liver, Sam? I know you can be particular about your foodstuffs, and where does liver and offal in general sit with you on the ecometer?
I don't think I've had it.
Really?
At least not memorably.
Ooh.
It just seems like something I wouldn't want to eat.
Yeah, I mean, you're fed a lot of, let's be honest, Sam, we can call a spade and call it what it is.
I've eaten a lot of spades.
They're wholesome.
Yeah.
You're fed a lot of anti-liver and onions fascist propaganda when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Through cartoons and whatnot. It's like, ugh, liver and onions. Like, it's the worst thing ever. Like, Earthworm Jim made fun of haggis when I was a kid, and I stopped myself from eating something that's very delicious.
It's nice, isn't it?
It is proper nice. Oh, man.
But liver and onions does sound shit, doesn't it?
It does, but you can have, like, bacon with it and stuff. It's pretty good.
The positive of a food shouldn't be that you can have it with a better food.
No, but it's good for you. It's the liver. It's full of all the nutrients.
I've got my own liver, thank you very much. I've already got a liver inside me. I don't need to put another one in.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, to the man who had an operation to have a third heart installed, I could always do with more organs, you know, that's to quote the man himself. Yeah, she gets proper freaked out. He gives her the thick end of the wedge and sends her on her way.
Yeah.
And as she's leaving, one of the inmates, Miggs,
Yeah.
throws what I thought was an egg at her. And I thought, ooh, no. Like, he's thrown a coddled egg at her.
It's
That'll
the other
hot.
one. It's
Oh, no.
The other part of that equation.
The male egg.
yeah.
A semen, which was flung at her. Very horrible. And
Ugh.
Hannibal, to mitigate the scenario, was like, I will shout at you now.
Yeah.
Calm down. I know you've had substance thrown on you. Calm down.
Shut up
It's
and
okay,
calm
Cliff.
down. It's just a dead parrot or whatever it was. Dead budgie.
It's just Mig's cum. It's okay. God. She has a little bit of a cry and a flashback as she's walking home.
Yeah.
And it's like, she has a flashback to a kid and it's like, hi Clarice, it's that daddy. And it goes, there's a hug. And then she's like, starts crying. So it must have been like, probably one of the worst all time ever hugs. Like, it was like rubbish that she immediately was like, ugh, the memory of that just turned me rotten and sour there. Ugh, awful.
I would love if that was the only flashback and only mention of her father that you got. And the story was that he was like, hi Clarice, hi Danny. Have a hug, and then it just brings into tears.
Yeah, I don't talk about him again. The weak hugger that is my father. So he did give her a juicy lead, Hannibal, to kind of calm her down and whatnot.
Yeah.
And she's exploring this old storage unit. Less than typically exciting episode of Storage Wars. There was one recently where they found a radar gun.
Got the same thing written down.
Yeah!
She didn't even bid on anything.
Sam,
Didn't even
am
bid.
I right in saying you had slightly too much time this Christmas period as well?
Yes. Yes.
The mating call of the Storage Wars enthusiasts.
Yeah, she has to kind of creep under the door of this storage unit belonging to an old friend or something, old patient.
It's clearly a fake name. No one's called Moffat. Because there's no such thing as a toffish to sit on, like. So it's, you know, and no one even eats curds and wheys. It's patently absurd. It's a farce, Sam.
But yeah, it's very creepy, that bit. The whole, darkness and torchlight.
Yeah, she cuts herself, which is ick.
Yeah.
And there's a pickled head, so there is. A big green one. It's awful gross.
It's real gross.
Like, I love pickles, and I was a bit...
You wouldn't have that.
No, I mean, I would have thought, like, maybe in jest in the past, Sam, I may have said, oh God, I love pickles so much, chop my head off and have it pickled.
Right.
But I admit now that was possibly a bit far in jest in the heat of the moment, and I don't maybe, recall saying that, honestly. So, back at Hannibal's zone, he wants the Buffalo Bill case file.
Back in the Hannibal zone.
Back in Hannibal's house, which is my pilot for an ABC single-cam sitcom set in Hannibal's house, where him and his daughter reconnect. Like, it's wacky.
The kind of could be his doll, his his little catchphrase.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be right back.
Clarice. Yeah.
So she's again a little bit too open and honest with him. She kind of is almost like she's feeding back to him like he's her superior officer or something like that.
Yeah. Hannibal's been using anagrams, hasn't he? He's done his anagram thing. The name was an anagram or something.
The anagram was like, it was obviously a trap, Clarice, or something like that.
I bet he fucking loves Only Connect, Hannibal Lecter.
Wait, what?
Is that too niche of a reference?
What is Only Connect?
Only Connect is, right, it's a quiz show.
Right.
It's on after
I've
University
heard of
Challenge.
this. Yeah.
Oh no, or before it. but it's harder than University Challenge. It's proper, like, it's too difficult for plebs like me.
Is that thing you have to go on live? You log on through the app?
No. Mate?
Oh, no, that's something else.
That's something else. Yeah. No, you don't only connect to... I don't know what the only connect bit means. I don't even get the title. I don't know what the title means.
God, it's for eggheads and boffins, Sam, not regular buffs like us.
But Hannibal would love it. There's loads of anagrams and shit on there.
I fucking hate anagrams, like, you know?
Yeah.
No one's ever figured out an anagram, like, really fast, like, too fast, kind of going, oh, I was surprised myself there. It's always like, not as sharp as I thought I was, kind of, you know? It's always a little bit of a defeat, an anagram, isn't it? Like,
I can't do it in my head. I've got to write it down and do stuff. Do you know any anagrams of your name?
I don't know. I don't know. It's odd that I think that's something that, at the age I'm at now, that
you would
by
have
the age
done
of 30, you think you would have checked that out. Yeah, I've not.
You know I've got mine, right?
Oh, yeah, you're, was it anal drippage or something like that?
Yeah, close enough. all those D's and P's in my name.
No, I was trying to remember it from your stand-up. What was it?
Anal chimps is an anagram.
Anal chimps, that's it. I know why I went to discharge. I just made it needlessly grotesque, like. So he's asking for lots of special treatment, is old Hannibal. He wants a window and a cushy new cell far away from this not particularly nice zone in which he finds himself currently.
He's just after a nice view. He's been doing drawings to try and make himself a little view, which is, in a way, kind of cute.
Don't call him cute.
Kind of cute, kind of adorable.
Sam Chaplin, he normalised Hannibal Lecter. What else don't we know about Sam Chaplin?
I've not got a window. I'll draw my own window. It's very, it's very productive.
He's very Dickensian, isn't he? I say, having read no Charles Dickens books ever, have I? Not zero. But I will just assume that's what it is little chaps drawn windows.
Yeah. Ebenezer Scrooge just... Oh, stop it, Ebenezer.
Yeah. So we cut to Memphis, Tennessee, and a lady is being stalked by a man in night vision goggles. So, under the guise of a man suffering with an injury and struggling to get a couch on, he very viciously, this is Buffalo Bill we're introduced to, kidnaps his next victim in his string of horrible killings by literally pushing her with a couch into a van. It's horrid. Ugh.
It's quite a simple but clever ruse. And you know what I've always liked? Night vision goggles.
Why?
I've always wanted to wear some and be able to see.
Are you like a fan of like Tom Clancy books that often have men in night vision goggles on the front? You look at that and kind of go, "Fwar, I think I could be a Tom Clancy leading man like with some night vision goggles." Is it a lifestyle thing?
I think so, yeah. I think it's an aspirational thing. I think that's who I'd want to be. But I can't afford night vision goggles, so I just had to buy like shitloads of carrots and try and make up the difference. It doesn't work.
Sam, you sound to me, you've got the tone of a man that's so dejected by clearly having had a quick Google of how much night vision goggles cost. And we're bitterly disappointed with the results.
It's prohibitively expensive, and I don't think that's fair in this day and age.
That happened recently. Me and Joe watched The Detectorists, and we're like, Peak District, which is on fire currently here in Manchester. This area is undergoing a significant blaze. But after that, detectorists, metal detectors, nice big walks, nice Sunday lunch, pickles, not a pickled head, just pickles and maybe a strong cheddar. And then, you look it up on the internet, it's prohibitively expensive. It's a shame it happens.
Yeah. You'd need to do all the metal detecting to get enough coins to then buy it, but then by then you've already...
You pay back the cost of the metal detector in the first 2 weeks, easy, minimum, it's very quick.
Pays for itself, mate.
So Clarice is called out on a separate case in West Virginia, born and raised, on the playground where she spends most of her days. We find the MO of Mr. Buffalo Bill, is that kind of keeps them alive for a few days, and then he mutilates them after they are dead, and he shoots them and removes their skin, and pretty gross, and so gross and mysterious that they've literally wanted this. This is what they wanted to have. They wanted Hannibal Lecter to offer help. They wanted to deal with the cannibal man. The local police in Virginia are local creeps, more like.
Yeah, again, we've got more starey, sneery men.
I mean, I'd be sneering at them. You all look exactly the same. You look like a really boring mutant who has the power to mutate slowly into the same man over and over again.
They do all look like kind of default man. Like if you had like a...
But they look a little sick though. Like there's a little something like kind of a little off about them.
Like if you have like Create a Skater on Tony Hawk and you don't change any of the settings, and it's like, yep, that's my guy. Done.
Boom.
Yeah, there he is. I just make 8 of them. Just stand them all in a row.
He probably has a tattoo on his calf, like, you know, like a world on fire or something. So, yeah, they go to have a look at the body, and, you know, it's going to be a right stinker in more ways than one when you're dabbing up the old Vaseline to have a look at the body, which is kind of turned a little bit away you want your bake-off cake to not look like. It's gone a little bit off, it's gone a little bit discolored, it looks like it's fallen on the floor a bit. It's a scene which critics are raving about and calling grisly and deeply upsetting.
What's the, before the body is kind of unveiled, what's the stuff they pop on their noses, all of them?
Oh, it's like Vicks, basically, a really strong version of Vicks, and that gets right up in the back of your nose. The idea is you won't get the smell of arse and dead on you. So
Clarice, like, turns away to do it, whereas everyone else just does it open it. I didn't know if there was some significance in that.
I think she was, like, seeing it being opened up. She was maybe just turning away, like, realizing the smell was about to hit her, maybe, and trying to shield away.
Yeah.
Correct dosage, you know? Oh, fun fact about Vicks. Do you know if you rub it on your feet, you will, like, smell it later on, like, it'll actually work its way up through your body, apparently.
Oh, God.
Yeah, if you've got, like, really stuffy nose and sinuses, rub some Vicks. Now, Cinema Swirl is a podcast for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
We're by no means advocating that you actually rub Vicks on your feet, but it will go up there and cause a sensation, allegedly, where you will feel your nose getting cleared. Same as well, if you rub an onion there, you'll taste it in your mouth.
I feel this is the setup for, like, my nose is running and my feet are smelling type gag.
I tell you what, Sam, you're back down in Blackpool, the old tired guy. I tell you what, Sam, rub an onion, ladies and gentlemen, rub an onion on your foot and put some smelly Vicks on the other one. Oh no! And drink the smelly glass full of mustard and vinegar. Like.
The victim's got a cocoon in her throat.
Yeah, I thought it was a stuffed vine leaf at the start, and I was like, oh, you're going to have a good time. Those are always good.
Shouldn't eat those in one big gulp, though, should you? You should...
No. That's a 3 chomper, Sam, is what that is. So, yeah, he picks it out. Dun-dun-dun. Who's that Pokemon? Dun-dun-dun. It's Metapod! Dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, so that plays into this whole a little bit heavy-handed theme of transformation. The little caterpillar or cocoon and then become a beautiful moth.
Beautiful, horrible, upsetting moth, like. Yeah. Ew. I'm just saying that, alright, I don't mean to judge and hate on moths because I know they're scary and they get a hard time.
Yeah.
But that moth was born of pure hatred and malice and literally grew off the suffering of others.
Yeah. It's not a nice moth.
It is a bad moth, Sam, and we should have it arrested.
Clarice goes to chat about the moth with these lads who are playing, I think, bug chess?
Which just sounds like a Kickstarter that just missed out. Like,
yeah.
Oh, 78%, guys. Dang it.
Oh, we're not going to be able to play fucking bug chess. And these guys are kind of creeps as well. One of them's alright, but one of them's a bit like, do I have hamburgers with me?
Ew, no one's having hamburgers with a bug gross nerd. No way.
But one of them is quite, in a way, says something quite cute, which is like, is this a clue from a real murder case? Cool! Like that. I think that's, that's sweet.
I feel in our kind of family comedy version of Silence of the Lambs, I feel that this would kind of, tie in there nicely as well. These kind of comedy nerds, I think they'd be a little bit of light relief. The wacky neighbors, maybe, or something like that, What zany schemes this week? What if we had a flea market that was run by fleas? Oh, you numbskulls. They're the real flea brains, if you know what I'm saying.
They figure out that this moth is an Asian moth, and in order to get this moth over here, you would have had to import the eggs and then, look after it, is what they're saying.
So they're after an enthusiast, isn't it? More than a hobbyist.
They're
this is to enthusiast
Mothman.
levels. Absolutely.
They need a moth lover.
If I was them and I know how business works, they should speak to his man of moths straight away. So they figure out that the girl that's missing is actually a senator's daughter, and they do the appeal, and it's very cool. They're analyzing, the appeal here. It may seem heartfelt, but it's actually very calculated how they're, saying her name over and over again to make sure that she's humanized in the eyes of the killer. It's all very psychologically based. And of course, for the 90s, this is kind of like one of the first times this kind of stuff, behavioral psychology is really playing out for yucks and for a movie and whatnot. So it's pretty cool to see it.
I'm going to bear that technique in mind if I'm ever in any kind of danger. I'm just going to keep saying Sam Chaplin, Sam Chaplin, Sam Chaplin, Sam.
Now, if you're careful, because there's like almost like a level you'll cross where saying it so much will become so irritating.
Right.
You'll be like, I'm proper going to kill you now just for the convenience of it.
They might just think I'm a Pokemon and I just can only say my name.
They'll send you into battle, Sam, and confine you to a ball. It's not the life for you. So, Clarice is back with Hannibal, and she's got a sweet deal. He can go to a pretty sweet club-fed prison and get to spend 1 week a year on the beautiful, exotic Plum Island. Plum Island.
You can go in the sea, mate. You can have a swim.
For 1 hour.
They're not going to let him swim. That was not real.
With no SWAT team supervision. Come on, it's totally... They can have one of them special force fields, like in the movies, to keep him out.
Or in Centre Parks. Big dome over the sea. No, I don't know if has he legitimately been tricked by this? Or is he kind of playing along?
He's kind of playing along because he's got different end games, isn't he? Because he knows he's ultimately planning to escape and get the opportunity. He's at least 4 or 5 steps ahead, this Hannibal Lecter customer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say that he's just kind of playing along. I think he realizes it's too good to be true because Plum Island is the hottest ticket this summer. So, he knows he ain't getting reservations there. And his kind of fixation is like, right, I'll play along with you, but only if I can ask very personal questions.
Yeah. And that's one of the first rules of Hannibal Club, is you're not supposed to tell him personal stuff.
She kind of flaunts that pretty much from the get-go.
But that's his bargaining tool, isn't it? He's like, well, I'll tell you something. You gotta tell me about your dad.
Don't lie, I'll know.
Will you?
Yes, of course I will. The large man who's holding me sees everything and he tells me. So she tells him about the moth after, telling about her father and dying and whatnot. And him basically being shot, defending from a burglar and died slowly over the course of a number of weeks. So it was very tragic and traumatic and she kind of got passed around. So she's kind of like a character who, in a video game, as you level up, you unlock more of her cutscenes. Now we know a little bit more about what's happened. So she very much you have the cutscene that cuts to the still images of the character, maybe told through a comic book effect or something to cut down on costs. We get some weird territory here where I was honestly quite confused, where Hannibal is talking about Buffalo Bill and him not being a transsexual.
Yeah.
He's not a transsexual, he just thinks he is. And I'll be honest, I was very confused, and then he knocked me for 6 by following up by saying, did you get sodomized by a rancher? So he was very much a 1-2 punch here, Mr. Lecter.
A lot going on in that chat. Yeah.
they're all over the place here on the radar. Yeah. God.
When Hannibal mentions that, Clarice sort of says that, there's no link between that and violence. But then Hannibal is saying, but it's not that.
Yeah, what he's saying is he has this extreme pathological narcissism where he's lying to himself. And apparently the director got called out, after this movie came out, about its kind of depiction of trans people and whatnot. And he was very defensive, saying, no, he wasn't trans, the character, at all. What he was someone who, hated himself so much that he constructed this fake persona to try and distance himself from it. It just seems to me it's maybe quite a clumsy interpretation.
Yeah. It all feels a bit... some of it is kind of conversationally handled okay.
Yeah.
But some of the portrayal of Buffalo Bill is a bit, I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of, when you look at in the 90s and the late 80s, you probably don't have a lot of gay characters to begin with. And as one as high profile as this, which is probably going to be quite a strong negative impact, let's just say, I don't think maybe Buffalo Bill is aged as particularly well as some other parts of this movie.
No, perhaps not. But this kind of ties into that whole transformation thing with the butterfly. Hannibal knows about that. We cut to Bill with his kind of well that he's got.
Yeah, now, is this a scene which this was done in South Park and a few other places, the whole it rubs the lotion on its skin?
I have heard that before, and I kind of am aware of some of these scenes with Buffalo Bill. I honestly didn't realise it was the same movie. I didn't realise that Buffalo Bill was a character in this. I kind of was aware of, that scene and that...
Right.
I didn't link it to this. I thought Hannibal Lecter was big bad in this.
Oh, I see. I mean, he's quite scary and terrifying, Buffalo Bill, in this whole routine. He's, he tells her very forcefully you have to put the lotion in the skin and then put the lotion back in the basket. It's a very basic basic skincare routine, and nowhere near the recommended 10-step in South Korea, which, as we know, is kind of what we should be aiming for in the long run if we're looking for proper skincare down the line there. It was made a little bit more freaky for me. Now, I don't know if you've seen Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but he looked proper like Willy Wonka from that movie. Like, he was quite scary, I found.
Yeah.
And, the upside down shots, like, kind of, it rubs the lotion on its skin, it puts it in the basket. Good day, sir. He was very, didn't like him a lot.
I mean, she did steal those fizzy lifting drinks, and that shouldn't go unpunished. I'm not saying that this was a fair punishment.
Little excessive.
You know, the referring to the victim as it, and the kind of third person thing, I think is super creepy.
Yeah, I kind of found myself very quickly forgetting the names of, like, the victims in this. Like, having to go and check up, because the movie sure does a good job at kind of, dehumanizing everyone a bit, and it's being kind of, viewed as it, because you're always out of focus when you see the victims' bodies and whatnot, or she's all the way at the bottom of a well. You rarely see them kind of for very long.
I think that's intentional, isn't it? That's kind of reflecting Buffalo Bill's view of these people.
And also his ability to dig a well, which...
fucking impressive.
That's fucking insane. Like, that's unbelievable. How does one even think to do that?
Unless Buffalo Bill bought the house, saw that there was a well in there.
It was just a really good multi-tiered rockery, like, originally, all the way up spiral style.
This is 100% what I need. Sold.
Get these shrubs out of here.
Yeah.
Get me a pulley, goddammit.
Perfect.
We got to see Hannibal in his iconic little cage mask. Say the line, Hannibal. Yay!
Been transferred to Memphis.
I'm sorry, I need to talk about that noise again for a second, because it's just been sticking with me. But can you imagine how many times, Anthony Hopkins, he's clearly a man who takes himself rather seriously. He holds himself like a knight of the realm, does he not?
Have you seen that video of him recently, though?
No, what
of
video?
Him doing a funny dance.
Oh no, is he doing a silly little jig?
So this that I am sending you now is the video of Anthony Hopkins recently, which is a very serious man who is...
bug-eyed Anthony Hopkins. Oh my god, stars you mean to go on. Look at this freak, Anthony Hopkins. Oh my god.
Yeah. Kind of terrifying, isn't it?
Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh my god! Oh my god, it's only halfway done! Oh my god! Oh my god! It's like the aliens coming out of his body! Oh my god! Call Space Force! Fucking hell, this guy! Oh my god!
Yeah. I think he just...
It's like Roger Rabbit. It's like, remember the face I made when I killed your brother? It was just like this.
I think he just posted on Twitter one day, just like, I'm feeling happy. Oh,
fucking hell. Christ. I was going to say, do you imagine how many times he's had people going, go on, Anthony. Go on, Sir Anthony Hopkins. Go. Do the line. Do the voice. And he has to like, oh, God, I'm sorry. I don't want to do it. I'm on holiday, like, you know.
But now they're probably, do the dance, mate. Do the bug-eyed dance.
I can only do it twice a day. My cardiologist says if I do it anymore, like, my eyes will explode.
For those at home, I might link that on the Twitter or Facebook when this goes up, so you can check out yourself.
Do. People need to see that he is not a human. He is part of the lizard liberal elite ruling class who have come here with old Red Ed at the helm. Those lizards are in charge and they're cracking down. Hopkins is one of them. You saw what he was capable of in Westworld Season 1. No spoilers for Season 2, obviously, Sam.
Thank you.
We're going to keep you safe, okay? So, turns out the deal he was offered, we could see him in his cool, iconic little face mask.
Yes.
And, turns out the deal he was offered was bogus and phony. And yeah, he is still pretending to play ball. He's like, oh no, I'm a good guy. I don't even need to see your deal. I'll tell you exactly where they are and who Buffalo Bill is.
Yeah.
But he likes to get in there, again, doesn't he? He always has to have his last word. Typical Hannibal. Always has to have the last word with his cutting remark. Ooh, do you get hard nipples it was? when you see your dead daughter and so.
Yeah.
It was dreadful fucking carry on from this lad. So it was.
I proper like your suit. Your suit's great. Love the great suit.
No, don't mask the mean thing you said with a compliment.
Yeah.
I'm still livid from what you said earlier.
He's not...
Nipples!
He's not fully understood negging, has he? He's not quite got it.
He's a terrible bloke, this Hannibal Lecter. He gives a full description of the guy. He says exactly what he looks like, where to find him, how he knows him.
Got the name as well.
Yeah, it's very obviously
Lewis
a trap. Come on! Right. If anyone needs any more proof that anagrams are super hard, they had ages to make this movie, millions of dollars, and it was the hardest they tried, all of them. Yeah. Including Anthony Hopkins was there. I can't think of a better one.
There's a little bit just before that when he's with Chilton and Chilton's sort of making another deal with him, and he's got this golden pen. Special pen. Chilton's got a pen.
Keeps eyeing it up like.
And then it goes missing. Does Hannibal nick the pen?
He does. He nicks the pen. He gets the little, it's like the nib or something that he uses later on.
How does he nick the pen?
Paul Daniels, mate. It's the fast hands.
Bloody hell.
You were too busy with your jaw on the floor looking at Debbie McGee in her sparkly new dress. Yeah? Well, old Daniels, the master of trickery, intensely pulls the wool under your eyes.
Oh.
Yeah, Pina, you seen the trick? Yeah? I love the hick cops are here like, hey, he's a vampire.
Is that true? So he gives them this description and the name, and Mr. Chilton's very, very proud of himself, isn't he?
He is.
He's getting all interviewed, and he's like, I can't tell you the name, but I can tell you my name. It's Mr. Chilton.
I tell you what, Chilton here, like the cat who's got the cream, is what he is. He's very full of himself, is what he is.
Hannibal's been moved to some new digs.
It's very, very secure, this one. It's a special cage, because if the bars don't stop him, these police barricades will.
He seems to be in a fucking Hell in a Cell match.
He's barricaded in there, yeah.
But it's like in the middle of what looks like somewhere between like a theatre and a school gym.
They're betting you what they were like. It's like, well, this place is haunted, so let the monsters fight each other, is what I say. Maybe that ghost and that vampire will take care of each other, like the snake and the mongoose.
Yeah.
So Clarice has got drawings, but he's seen through her pathetic offer. Turns out that the island was a special anthrax colony, so burn on you.
He does his good evening, Clarice, which I think is a famous line, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good evening, Paris.
Yeah.
Clarice.
And she's figured out the Lewis friend anagram. Because everything's a bloody anagram. It's an anagram of like, is it fool's gold? Iron something.
Yeah, because he's smart, isn't he? A doctor.
This is fool's gold, because Chilton's a fool, and this is gold to him.
And if he had the chemical symbol for cat and cream, that's the one that he'd be using, because Chilton, as mentioned previously, lapping it up he was, like a cat who had got the cream in that case. I'm gonna say this, right? He's only scary in hindsight, having seen this movie, this is my second time probably have seen it, because I saw it maybe 10 or so years ago.
Yeah.
But I think he's only scary because of them camera angles.
They're very good camera angles, aren't they?
They are. He's like, his entire face just frames the screen. And if you imagine him if you imagine him in vertical mode on like an iPhone screen.
Yeah.
From the jowls up the nasal passage.
Yeah.
He becomes a more of a clown-like figure, much more like a silly clown than a scary villain.
As we've seen in his performance. But the way these shots work, he starts off with quite a long shot of him in between the bars, sitting down far away. And slowly but surely, the shots turn into right close-up of his face.
Blech.
While watching it, and I don't want to make too much of this, but it's one of those things that creeps up on you without you realising that it's happening.
Yeah, like in The Shining, when it's the slow zoom out of the maze, and it's like, wow, it's slowly change before your eyes. Like the theme of transitions, boom!
These cuts between them, if you think about it, like a second ago he was just all the way over there, but now he's over here. The camera angles here, the shots, super well done.
They bring you in
creepy.
close to him.
Very close, uncomfortably close. And you're not supposed to get close to him, and it brings you in close.
He got such rave reviews for this performance. It was considered to be one of the all-time iconic greatest performances ever. But I must say, as great as he is in it, I think he's in this movie so little. He's on screen for it feels only 25 minutes or something like that. He's hardly on it. And you get so much work with the cameras and the music that it kind of really builds around him. It's kind of it's more of a complete package, this character, than just old Tony Hopkins. Pro skater.
He's got some great scenes to work with, hasn't he?
Yes, absolutely.
He's not in it much, but the bits that he is in it are very, very good quality.
So she unlocks more of her backstory, which is recounting her inability while on a ranch to save these lambs who were met with certain doom, and she couldn't carry them across all, so she could only carry one, and she had to hear these horrible deaths of all these little lambs. And the rancher apparently was very upset with her, and she got kicked out. And yeah, will saving the girl make the lambs scream stop? Find out as Silence of the Lambs rolls down historic Route 66.
Well, now we realise why the film is called The Screaming Lambs.
Yeah. Ow!
Oh, now I get it.
What do you think it would sound like?
Well, the lambs.
Because, sometimes animals do have noises that will kind of surprise you. Like, Billy got me on recently to, it is a turtle having sex with a shoe. And so it's a very soft noise. So I wonder if, screaming lamb might be like, wah! Something kind of... It might be as bad as you think,
Yeah, I mean, have you heard goats just having a chat? They've got very human-sounding voices, goats.
Oh, yeah, the natter. They sound like very angry humans, confused, what? Finding stuff out. You made them sound like they're Luigi. They're like, oh.
A lamb might just sound like a little upset child, and that's worse, isn't it?
It is. It's the sweetest, most innocent thing there is.
Yeah.
Particularly if you're Catholic, where lamb goes in massively, so big on the lamb symbolism. But not so much that there's any restrictions on eating the lamb. If anything, lamb is encouraged to be eaten around the Easter time.
Well, it's tasty, isn't it?
It is. The sweetest thing there is. He proper gets off on all of this.
Yeah, he's having a great time.
He just feels slowly the tension's been released from this balloon. It's kind of he's very, a very silent fart has been let out. He's like, oh, loving every second of this. A little bit of tension being released there. His little white clothes, though, Sam, it made him look like a very sinister little Andrew WK. Like an evil anti-partying Andrew WK would show up to stop the party and tell everyone to stop and think about bad vibes.
That's such a... That's perfect.
Party hard, more like eat people hard, am I right?
They make physical contact, these two. There's a little touch.
Yeah, it's a bit much there. She's broken rules 7 through 18 of Fight Club now. Lecter Club. He pulls an old switcheroo on the guards, does old Hannibal, and he cuffs one of them. Very clever, very sneaky, like a fox he is here. He eats another man's face and then maces him afterwards, which is going to be the worst stinging ever.
Yeah, that's particularly brutal, that.
Oh, I couldn't watch that, Sam. Not if you paid me. Oh, that was horrible.
But he's so calm.
He is, and he's, remarkable shape for a man who's been in a very small cell, He's spry.
It's very dispassionate, what he's doing. He just kind of does it.
He's very, machine-like killing.
This is what he has to do.
Yeah, he is proper creepy. He clubs the guy to death who he had cuffed up, and the guys brought him his dinner, and it looked genuinely like a lovely dinner. Like something you get from a harvester, a second dinner from harvester, the lamb chops, and a nice big baked potato.
He's eating lamb. He's drawing Clarice with the lamb. He's eating lamb.
He is. He's taunting her with the lamb. It's a delicious way to taunt someone, It'd be horrible if, she had, a traumatic backstory that was about, something shit, like gruel or something like that. And he's like, oh, I have to eat this
fuck's sake.
Rubbish meal. He's like, yeah, get proper good lamb. And as well, right, I know it comes in looking like a harvester, but at the end where he's eating everyone. It's like, I've heard the portions in Harvester are hashtag epic. I've heard they are hashtag epic.
But come on.
But come on, I want to tweet Hugh Ferdinand Withington Stalebottom about this and let him know that is probably too much calories. That's probably at least a week's worth of protein and more than your RDA of blood.
Too much.
A big mess.
Too much blood.
So the cops go up to see what's going on and they're greeted with an open crucifixion. He's kind of vivisected him almost. It's very horrible.
Which Nirvana album cover was that? I can't remember. Yeah, it's yucky. I don't know how he did that. It takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, he must have a great, now not to draw too many parallels between something like a Pop-Up Pirate or a Buckaroo or a Kerplunk, any kind of the other kind of very nimbly placed up type of games where, something can fall and, it's all wrong. But I imagine he'd be very good at those type of games as a result. The stillness there would make him, if anything, a master. Do not challenge Hannibal. Don't go, mate, don't eat me, but, place a bet. Play me in a game of Buckaroo. You're going to fucking lose.
Yeah. I think it would have been a very boring scene to have him actually stringing up that police officer on the cage thing.
A long shot.
That would have taken fucking ages.
Like, where did he get all the tools?
It looks cool, but, like, that's going to take a long time.
Sam, let's just call it what it is, all right? And I'm tired of, like, everyone being politically correct. It's what it is. It's art, isn't it? It's a beautiful piece of... Yes, it's edgy and it's daring, and it asks us questions like, is this horrible? And would you take this away from me now, please? It's one of the most horrid shots in the entire film.
Should it be nominated for the Turner Prize? I don't know, but I think it's worth considering.
That's in the panel's hands now, Sam.
Yeah.
It's in the panel's hands.
Yeah, it's up to them.
The big dirty minger that he is, he's left like blood dripping in honestly, the only thing worse is if you left like wet towels on the floor as well, but this is blood dripping from the top of the elevator. Clean up your shit, mate. Ew, gross.
Very tense, the whole kind of cops trying to find Hannibal when he's got a gun and the lift going all over the place.
Yeah, it did make me want for like a Hitman type video game with your Hannibal Lecter keeping away from all the cops and whatnot.
Yeah. A stealth game.
Yeah, you can kill people and it's not feel anymore. Like, we're going to stop that altogether.
And the best strategy is to put a mask of another man's face on your face and just lie down forever. I did not see that coming.
That was textbook switcheroo there.
That was like hustle, you know? Oh. That was like they've swapped the briefcases.
That is, like, final segment of The Real Hustle. Like, are you kidding me?
Oh, he cut that guy's face off and put it on his own face. That's how...
And then they talk to the psychologist and they're like, well, actually, if you see someone who's wearing a cut-off face, it's very much like if they're wearing a high-vis jacket. You just assume a level of authority and don't question it.
Yeah.
You'll do literally anything. This woman is giving her car keys to this man who's got a skin for a face. So, yeah, Hannibal and a skin mask, and we find out as well that he only went and bit a tourist. Having fun on the run. My pitch for the summer vacation episode of the Hannibal Lecter family road trip comedy that is now being developed for ABC. Clarice she does a little bit of figuring out herself, and she reckons that Bill must know the victims from someplace. So she starts talking to the victims' kind of friends. She gets a bit of a vibe when she sees this person is a seamstress, and she comes with the theory that Buffalo Bill, the reason why he's going after larger women and keeping them alive is so he can skin them, and he wants to make a skin suit out of them. On the old fashion front, would you wear a suit made of human skin?
What I will say is that I would try it on.
I can just imagine the face, like a really like a sour, like you know.
Just put, no. You know what?
It'd cling to you, wouldn't it?
I've thought about it for 2 seconds and no. Even if it was like, you know, properly treated and dried out and it just felt like leather.
Do you think, like, reckon if this thing ran its course and, like, Buffalo Bill did make the skin suit and he's like, all right, here we go. Oh, actually, no, I'm not as fond as that. Oh, no, I've made a terrible mistake, you know.
The Buffalo Bill would make it and be like, oh, this is rubbish.
Yeah. This is I thought this would be a laugh. This is absolutely...
This is a load of old shite.
This is the conceptual fashion version of eyes bigger than the stomach.
There's a reason why everyone else uses fabric. I should have thought this through.
I didn't think how the material would age over time. I didn't make allowances for my materials or the conditions that I was keeping them in. So, yeah, they're obviously after the wrong guy then, the FBI, who are on a kind of bit of a manhunt at the moment. And we get the iconic goodbye horses scene where all the horses in the movie are with their best wishes on their way off for a long-earned break.
Jodie Foster's like, go on now. Go on.
Yeah.
Y'all need to go on. And all the horses are like, goodbye.
And there's just one horse who's a little bit like saying, now, come on now, Tyler. And okay, maybe she has to threaten a bit more of whether that kind of special spank they give the horses.
None of that naysaying. Come on. Okay.
The cheeky spank they give the horses, like, ooh, all right, I'll be on my way.
Off you go. Goodbye, horses. Yeah.
Did you have this reference to anything that, like, in pop culture has this come up before? Because it's considered to be like one of the kind of like the big, like, wow, you know, iconic scenes from this movie.
It's that song is in the soundtrack of, I believe, Skate 2. So
that is not an appropriate place to have that song.
I know it from that. I just thought it was a banger.
Does seeing this kind of scene, did that kind of maybe, like, if you were loading up Skate 2, as I know you totally probably will.
Yeah.
Would that, like, throw you on this kind of, oh, Buffalo Bill, like a bit of a strange character and upsetting scenes and whatnot? Would that sound shivers down the spine?
I've been graced with a good few years of not associating that song with that scene. I think, you know what, I'm very glad of those years, and I'm lucky to have had that, and now it belongs to that scene, and that's fine.
Yeah, you've had a good run,
Yeah.
you know, better than most of us.
I've done a bunch of kickflips.
And he has the iconic line, doesn't he? And he has a good look in the mirror and he says, I'd fuck me hard so I would. And it's my way to humanize it. If I put it in just an accent from back home and from the village, it doesn't seem like such a big deal. It seems okay. It's all right. You know, it's not upsetting anymore.
No.
I did find this a hard watch, if I'm honest. I didn't have the best time of watching it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the FBI are raiding an empty place. The killer is not here. They've not gotten a blues clue. They've gotten a blues ruse. And now they're blues rubes.
I could kind of see that twist coming. I couldn't see the face mask twist coming. But when the FBI were like, oh no, don't worry, Clarice, we've got it. We've got the right place. Someone gave us a tip off and it was fine. I'm like, did they?
You're the guys who sneered, you know, I don't trust their judgment at all.
Like, Clarice was right all along, and they need to trust her.
So, yeah, this is kind of get cut between a couple of scenes here as, like, stuff is going on at Buffalo Bill's hideout.
Yeah.
The girl has kidnapped the dog, so she's trying to...
It's a good move, by the way. Clever.
It's a power play, Sam.
Wonderful
it's a total
stuff.
Power play.
Yeah.
Would you say if someone went for Miles, like, would that be like, okay, no negotiations, this is over?
Yeah. I'd be like, goodbye horses, fuck this. Right, give me Miles, put him in the bucket, I'll bring him up. Off you go. Deal. A deal's a deal.
Fair's fair.
Yeah,
like.
don't
let's
hurt
stop
Miles.
this nonsense.
I noticed the Buffalo Bill's got swastika sheets because, of course, let's just throw that in there as well.
Yeah, they kind of lump in a lot of stuff. He's very busy, isn't he? Like,
yeah,
you know,
a lot going on.
It's kind of a very broad, like, swing in the dark of like what we think a nasty kind of, you know, strange bisexual transvestite. We don't understand it.
Just bung everything in there.
Yeah,
and a
Nazi. And then the Nazi as well. And they hate the Cure as well. They're really just awful, yeah.
Pretty good taste in music, Buffalo Bill, I think.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I like some of the jams that are coming out of that house.
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't think any would be more of a letdown as a vacation destination than this spot. Maybe, you know, Plum Island, aka Anthrax Island, would weigh harshly on my TripAdvisor scoreboard. But yeah, Bill's got a good soundtrack going from at least. So she is pretty much onto him straight away because they say there's like old lady Millard or whatever they've done stitch work with, and she arrives and it's clear it's Buffalo Bill, and she has such a smell of want on him, the big weirdo. He's so obviously a baddie.
Yeah, he's very bad at hiding his baddie status.
How do they get away for so long when they're like so patently, obviously a wrong'un?
Answer the judge like, I'm a murderer. I mean, hi.
Whoa, let me just put down these tools I use for murder right here. The big cling film was a dead giveaway as well.
Yeah. Who has big cling film?
And someone who's went to Costco once.
Yeah.
And they kind of got a little bit overwhelmed by the experience and how this big cling film is like a constant reminder, like you're way ahead of yourself there, pal.
Yeah. There's a moth in the house. There's a moth.
Ugh.
She's the moth.
And the moth is the key to it all, of course. The moth she recognizes as being a... Thanks, bug nerds, wacky neighbors.
The proof is in the moth pudding, and there's a big bloody moth there.
Oh, did I ever tell you there was a kid in my school who like poured a bowl of cereal one morning, and there was a moth in it, a great big dirty moth, and it was like a Minoc from Empire Strikes Back, like, and just any sort of moth in mouth thing just makes me go like a butterfly in my mouth. I would survive, but a moth in the mouth, which is just kind of a more powdery butterfly experience, I guess, would
you don't
make
want moth
me
mouth.
Freak out. Oh no, not at all. The poster scared me more than most of this movie, I would say.
I get the poster now.
Yeah.
Makes
that.
Good sense. I get the name.
The moth is just like, shh. Shut up and calm down. Shut up, like, you know.
Yeah.
So she does freeze on him, but he, like, runs away anyway, literally breaking the rules of police. Like, she is well in her rights now to shoot him, pretty much.
Yeah. But Buffalo Bill's kind of does a clever little, I'm sneaking away.
The double take, like. So she explores the lair, she finds the girl and like the dog as well, and she has to kind of like basically be like, all right, I'm gonna come back. You stay sassy down there.
See you in a bit.
Bye.
I think the girl is like, don't leave me, you bitch, at one point.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be pretty ticked off as well, Sam.
No, I mean, if someone's come to save me, if I'm in that situation, and someone's come to get me.
I know, like, I feel every person who's going to be the first one down into the hole where everyone's been kept is going to be met by, to be honest, Sam, a bunch of sourpuss faces. They're going to have a bad time. They're going to let people know about it.
Well, I mean, don't shoot the messenger. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. Don't call Clarice a bitch, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a bit bang out of order.
We've all had a bad day, all right?
Yeah, we've all been there, We've all had to chase a moth down a street, We have to chase a moth through a lair. I did like it because she is going after the moth, but she has her gun out, so it's like, freeze, moth. Like, it really looks like a silly kind of, well, stop that moth.
Yeah.
He's got my mother's jewels or something. Very magical tale. Open up the bathroom. It's full of horrible old refried beans.
Oh, God, that bath. That bath was... Oh. You only see it for a second, but good lordy.
Like, it would take a real charitable person on Comic Relief to be like, all right, I'll pop in there. Most people, like, Skinner and Badil might just about, you could twist their arm, like. So we had the night vision sequence, which for you must have just been like kind of, I don't know, night vision porn or whatever people in the night vision community call it.
Yeah, I think that's what we call it. We call it night vision porn. When
MVP.
You just see anyone, first person perspective of night vision goggles, you're like, yes. Yes. Here we are.
This is the right colour scheme for me. It made it seem like an episode of Most Haunted, so pretty dang scary if you ask me. So she's after him, she's chasing around, it's quite scary because she's in the dark again. We don't know much about her carrot intake. She's not got the night vision goggles. She starts shooting wildly towards his direction when she catches a glimpse of him. There was literally a moment where she shot the window and all the light came in. I was like, yes, got him. Because for a second I just thought, the vampire, this one. Because I just, zoned out a little bit. And I was like, oh yeah, he was the oh wait, no, it wasn't him. It was not Anthony Hopkins who was not a vampire. So she did a pretty bang up job of shooting him. Nice good splatter everywhere. A+.
Yeah, great job. Great shooting. The training's paid off.
Yeah, she graduates as well, which is very good job. You eliminated this horrible monster. Good thing you didn't arrest him or anything like that.
My favourite thing about the sort of graduation is the big FBI cake. I want a big slice of that FBI cake.
What flavour do you reckon is inside?
Crime.
So, yeah, to have graduation after all these events is as stressful as I imagine the graduation was in Harry Potter. I didn't read the last 2 books, but I assume the graduation was a right, head scratcher. Was it? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm expecting you to fill me in on this. You're my pop culture guy.
No.
You're my Potterhead.
I've not read them book.
He's very polite though, Hannibal. Listen, he gives her a nice call and I just give you a quick message and let you know I won't be murdering you now.
Yeah. Just giving you 3 rings just to let you know I'm safe.
If you want me to murder you, just the 1 ring will do. It'll be fine. I'll do it quick and slow.
And he says he's having an old friend for dinner.
Now, that for me, he's properly mugged himself there at the end. What? You've invited a friend for dinner to what? To eat people with? That's going to be embarrassing. What's this you're serving? Steak tartare? No, it's have you ever tried people? Boom. Well, it's the silence of the lambs. And
when he did that line, that he didn't just turn straight to the camera and kind of do a little wink. Having an old friend for dinner.
Yeah, like you wanted the freeze frame right there, right?
Yeah.
They missed the trick. That's where he could have been. You could have had your big giant titles pop in there out of nowhere. I would have been properly happy with that.
Don't need no credit card to ride. Yeah.
You don't need to be quiet to silence the lambs. Oh man, I'll be your liver if you'll be my fava bean tonight.
But he's gonna kill Chilton, isn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. That's
great. Justice.
It's justice.
Yeah. In the credits of the film, I was watching the bit of the credits, and 2 of the characters that came up in the credits were as follows: friendly psychopath and brooding psychopath. I just think those are 2 very meaty roles.
Do you think any guys went in there, auditioned for both, and would have been exhausted with the dynamic shift between the 2?
Tell you what would be funny if someone went in for friendly and someone went in for brooding, and they each got the different part, the opposite one.
What a comedy of errors that would be. I don't know, John. I'm getting friendly psychopath. You're not giving me brooding psychopath here. I'm not seeing it in the eyes at all. It's but wait a minute. I am being a broody psychopath.
Yeah. Wait, wait, hold on. Let me give you one more try of this character. Okay, I'm gonna do it now. This is broody psychopath. All right.
Here we go.
Oh, you all right? Oh no, fucked it. God damn it. No, can't.
Sam Chaplin, it's a pleasure to hear your range and your presence here, and I feel that we've all been a little bit brooded by a psychopath here tonight in the Actors Studio. Now, there are other Hannibal Lecter movies, but I should say they are very shonky in quality. If we ever do some sort of spin-off where we look at shonky sequels, maybe Hannibal might be one worth looking at, because that definitely has aged horrifically. I myself was very surprised at what a great thriller this still was, but haven't gone through it, Sam. Thoughts on Silence of the Lambs?
I really liked it a lot. I think it was the right level of not just super disgustingly gruesome. It's not an out-and-out horror. It's a thriller. There's a great deal of tension. There's some great characters.
Were you scared throughout, would you say? Would you find this was on an experience? I know we always use The Shining as your benchmark of, did it give you a bit of a chill, but were you chilled?
I wasn't too heebie or jeeby about it. I think I was just the right level, I think. It was a bit freaked out, but not scared at any point, I don't think. Just engrossed, but not grossed out.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say even though it deals with some very, very dark and very, grotesque subjects, I think this is one which, I think I remember a lot of the hubbub about this when I was a kid. This is very much the video on the high shelf at the back of the VHS shop that was oh, this is the real scary flick that's come through here. And I think a lot of that might be a bit of hysteria, because if you compare it to any of the schlocky horror movies that you were mentioning at the start, like a Saw or something like that, it's nowhere near as
tame. Yeah.
Visually disturbing. It is quite tame in a sense, but it is quite, I don't know, I do feel quite icky after watching it.
Yeah, there's definitely an ick factor.
Anthony Hopkins, do you think he was the this is the iconic performance? Is this what you think you'll remember?
I think it was a great performance. All of his scenes were fantastic. But I think Jodie Foster as well, their whole dynamic was great.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, I would love a good deal more scenes of just them chatting.
Those were definitely the best parts of the movie. And I think that is the total strength of it. And you get so little of him, I guess, at the end. That is probably one of the best things about the movie. In the same way you don't see a lot of the grotesque stuff or the really scary stuff.
Leaves
you don't see a
more.
whole lot of him. Yeah, after you see him, it's usually a long kind of plodding scene where you get to kind of think about him and his disturbing eyes. And, he gave me all sorts of heebie-jeebies. Even, I thought after watching, Westworld and stuff, it's I will only see this kind of grand old Mr. Peanut millionaire man in my head now. I won't be freaked out by Anthony Hopkins. No, he's still
scary puppet man.
A weird, horrible puce skull of a marionette. It's very, very unsettling indeed. Well, it may not have been scary, but it was certainly thrilling. How many star wipes would you give this bad boy, Sam?
I think this is a solid 4 star wipes.
4 star wipes. You heard it here first.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Cinema Swirl. This episode was produced by Kevin, and the music and editing was by me, Sam. As always, you can follow us on Twitter over at CinemaSwirl, or join us on Facebook at facebook.com/CinemaSwirl. If you have any questions, queries, comments or stories, send them on over to cinemaswirl@gmail.com. That's cinemaswirl@gmail.com. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to us over on iTunes or whichever podcast thing you use. And if you like the show, leave a review. Anyway, we'll see you next time on Cinema Swirl.